Star Trek makes Strange New Worlds version of TNG's 10 Forward even more important. In the legacy of Star Trek, certain locations transcend their original purpose to become emotional and narrative hubs for entire crews. The USS Enterprise D had 10 Forward, the social heartbeat of Star Trek, the next generation, overseen by the enigmatic Guinan. It was more than a lounge. It was a place of counsel, comfort, and unexpected revelation. Now, Strange New Worlds, Star Trek's retro-modern reimagining of the original adventures aboard the USS Enterprise, is establishing its own version of 10 Forward, the Enterprise bar, helmed by Chief Engineer Hemmer, and now carried forward by Pelia and others. But more than just being a nostalgic echo, this new gathering space is evolving into something even more pivotal, both for the crew and for the show's storytelling fabric. As Strange New Worlds leans further into character-driven episodes and episodic storytelling, the bar becomes a key player in expressing the series' heart. Through quiet conversations, shared drinks, and moments of levity or grief, it anchors the audience in the interpersonal dynamics that define this pre-Kirk Enterprise. What makes this even more intriguing is how the series is using the space not just for downtime, but as a vessel for deeper themes, personal evolution, and philosophical tension, much like 10 Forward once did, only with a sharper emotional edge. In many ways, Strange New Worlds has taken the spirit of 10 Forward and elevated it for a more introspective, emotionally mature generation of Trek storytelling. 10 Forward, a template of emotional intelligence. Before examining the bar aboard Strange New Worlds Enterprise, it's important to understand what made 10 Forward such a staple. Located on Deck 10, it was the beating heart of the Enterprise D, not in terms of operations, but of community. Guinan, with her centuries of wisdom and serene demeanor, provided not just drinks, but perspective. Whether Picard needed advice, Data pondered the nature of humanity, or Worf sat in awkward discomfort, 10 Forward allowed for informal interactions that peeled back layers of Starfleet professionalism. It was the first Star Trek location to show characters as people first, laughing, grieving, falling in love, or seeking guidance. The sterile corridors of the ship gave way to warmth, reflection, and relatability. This is precisely what Strange New Worlds is rediscovering and amplifying, but with a tone that feels more raw and immediate. Strange New Worlds Bar, a new nexus of connection. On Strange New Worlds, the Enterprise's bar doesn't yet have an iconic name like 10 Forward, but it serves the same vital function. What's different, however, is the way this bar reflects a younger, less seasoned crew, many of whom are still finding themselves and bearing deep, unresolved traumas. The space thus becomes less of a counselor's office and more of a neutral ground where officers lower their guard, reconnect with themselves, or process the emotional fallout of missions that often push them to the brink. In Season 1, we saw this subtly play out. Hemmer shared quiet wisdom with Uhura during her training rotation, guiding her not just technically, but emotionally. Chapel and Spock had moments of flirtation and vulnerability, providing a contrast to their often complex professional relationship. Lon, Nooney, and Singh had her own silent brooding sessions, which spoke volumes even in their quietness. And in Season 2, the space becomes even more significant as personal relationships deepen, and the burden of command grows heavier. Pelia, grief, and generational memory. When Hemmer died, a loss that hit fans and crew alike, his absence was most deeply felt in the bar. His warmth, sarcasm, and mentorship infused the space with a unique energy. Enter Pelia, the new engineer who is as eccentric as she is ancient. Her presence in the bar reframes the location once more, not just as a space for recreation, but as a living repository of history. Pelia's experiences span millennia. Like Guinan, she has seen cultures rise and fall, has felt love and loss repeatedly, and understands the ebb and flow of sentient emotion. Yet, unlike Guinan's soft-spoken wisdom, Pelia carries a more chaotic, bohemian insight. She's strange, but deeply human in her imperfection. Her presence in the bar, whether fixing something in the corner or offering unsolicited philosophical musings, grounds the room in the broader timeline of Trek itself. She doesn't just exist in the present, but is a reminder of everything that came before. The bar thus becomes a bridge, not just between characters, but between eras of Star Trek. The bar as a stage for emotional catharsis. One of the best examples of the bar's importance came in the musical episode Subspace Rhapsody. While the whole ship was affected by a quantum field forcing them to express themselves through song, many of the most emotionally charged revelations occurred in or around the bar. It became a stage, not just metaphorically, but literally for characters to finally voice suppressed truths. Lon's solo about unrequited love and emotional self-sabotage was heartbreaking in its clarity. Chapel's resistance to being defined by her romantic feelings for Spock came through in an upbeat number that masked profound self-doubt. Even Pike's faltering relationship with Captain Battelle gained weight in the bar's close quarters, where private conversations echoed louder than any command decisions. These are the kinds of moments that used to happen in 10 Forward, quiet, vulnerable, human. Yet Strange New Worlds dials them up, giving the bar an almost confessional quality. It's not just a place to relax, it's a pressure valve, a communal hearth, and sometimes a mirror. A diverse social ecosystem. What's also notable is that the bar in Strange New Worlds reflects a broader social evolution. While 10 Forward often featured human-centered interactions, Strange New Worlds populates the bar with a more inclusive mix of species, identities, and backgrounds. From Ortegas's casual sarcasm to Spock's attempts to balance Vulcan logic with human emotion, the diversity of personalities makes the space dynamic and alive. Unlike 10 Forward, which could sometimes feel like a background location, the bar in Strange New Worlds frequently becomes the dramatic centerpiece of scenes. It hosts crew game nights, one-on-one reckonings, and even diplomatic tensions. As the characters become more fleshed out, their interactions in this space take on greater narrative significance. It's also where Strange New Worlds inserts its most humor-filled or relaxed scenes, breaking up the intensity of the show's heavier moments. Foreshadowing the future, a precursor to Guinan's domain, in a meta sense, Strange New Worlds bar functions as the embryonic version of 10 Forward. It suggests that Starfleet has long understood the value of social hubs, not just for morale, but for emotional intelligence. This raises intriguing questions. Could the concept of 10 Forward have been directly inspired by spaces like this one? Is there an unofficial legacy of shipboard bars influencing Starfleet ship design and culture? While Strange New Worlds may never connect those dots directly, the resonance is intentional. Like 10 Forward, the bar here is a place where humanity is laid bare, not in the spectacle of battle, but in the quiet aftermath. Conclusion: more than a lounge, a living soul. In many ways, Strange New Worlds has made its version of 10 Forward more essential than ever. It's not just a homage, it's an evolution. The bar serves as a dramatic and thematic crucible where the inner lives of characters are revealed, explored, and often transformed. Whether it's Hemmer offering life lessons, Pelia bringing cosmic perspective, or the ensemble wrestling with love, duty, and destiny, the space becomes a narrative sanctuary. By one of the most underrated aspects of the next,